Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has dropped a massive hint that he will be Manchester United manager. And also, I just want to say, look, sorry I'm a little bit late with the live show, but I'm a perfectionist and there was something I wasn't quite happy with. And I was just going to do the big reveal from the start, but that pitch on my left is empty for a reason, and you're going to see a very interesting reason in a couple of minutes at a time. So stay tuned for that. Also, we've got a big announcement in relation to the United Stand football team. You can watch that on my video today. I did it on my channel. The link's in the video description for that. But don't go and watch that now. You can watch that. I'll remind you that later. And we've got a Game of Thrones actor on the channel tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and got your notifications on. But lots of things I want to talk about. Let me just have a quick look at my notes. Marcus is a dick. No, that's the wrong one. Right, so we're going to be talking about De Gea's contract. We're going to be talking about this Solskjaer thing. We're going to be talking about, is Ole a yes man? We're going to be talking about Antonio Valencia, a new contract for Juan Mata, and Luke Shaw agenda. And what's behind that pitch? Very, very excited. I can't wait to talk about that. But the news on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Oh, I've just found a sweet. Just found a midget gem. Can't eat it when that's a little treat for after. Let's talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his hints. It's been reported, some of you may well have seen it, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is moving out of the Lowry Hotel. Now, Jose Mourinho stayed there for 2.5 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't even be there for 2.5 months. He's moving out. He's moving into permanent residence there. And many people and many papers and outlets are reporting this, saying that this, I don't know why I'm speaking German, is the reason that he will be getting the job. It shows a commitment that he wants to move into a job full time. So good. Look, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be the manager, but some of you might still be a little bit unsure. I think moving out of the hotel is a big step. It shows that, why move out of I tell you what, rewind it a moment. Why move out of a hotel in the end of February when you've been there since the middle of December, so 2.5 months, when you are only meant to be there till May? It's only March and April and a bit of May, and you're gone anyway. So why move out for 2.5 months? Ding, because he's going to be United's manager. And I think a lot of people know he will be United's manager, and I'm very happy about that. James Gray, thanks for the contribution. So, very, very good. I mean, John Laqualclans says give him £250 million. Struggled with that name. Give him £250 million. Well, let's just fly into something that probably is quite topical today. Juan Mata is going to be reportedly going to be given another contract, a year contract with the option of another year. Now, I think Mata's 31 this year in April. I think he's 31 in April. If not, he's 30. But what's more prevalent with Juan Mata is, and I love Juan Mata. I absolutely love Juan Mata. And this is totally from a footballing sense, and that's where it should always come from. Just because a footballer's a twat off the pitch, if they're brilliant on the pitch, they're doing the job for Manchester United. I always am a firm believer that you should judge a player on what they do in a Manchester United shirt. It doesn't matter how much charity work they do off the pitch, doesn't matter what an arsehole they are off the pitch, it's what they do on the pitch that matters. And I feel that Juan Mata is on the decline, and I would move him on in the summer, and there's a very, very good reason I would do that. But Manchester United reportedly going to give him £170,000 a week to stay and sign a new contract. Harold Hollel Svresvoid says, scary, Man United win 2 + 1 draw, next 3 equals board, say squad good enough, positive after big W media team, often have negative reaction, positive C. Mate, you need to, thanks for the contribution, but you need to write your comments better than that. That's like bloody Einstein. I don't know what MW2 plus and all that means. A big up to the mods, smash a like and cheers, says Smut Beers. And Mark Whitten, Mark, you spoke a few weeks ago saying we are screwed if Pogba got injured. Players all around him are getting injured and fatigued. He must have been keeping up his fitness even under Jose. Yeah, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. But let's go to this, because I think this is the thing that you're going to find really interesting. Right. This for me is why Juan Mata should be sold by Manchester United. Because you look at that and you tell me that we're going to spend £250 million in the summer. That is what we've got, right? So our front 3 options are Lukaku, Rashford and Greenwood. Our wide left options are Alexis Sanchez and Martial. Our wide right options are Lingard, Mata and Chong. Our midfield options are, there's 8. There's 7. Matic, McTominay, Herrera, Pereira, Fred, Gomez, Pogba. I can see us adding a midfielder into there. I can see us adding a midfielder into that position. I don't know. Well, This is my concern. This is my concern with Phil Jones. This is my concern with Chris Smalling. This is my concern with Ashley Young. The more of these deadwood players that we keep giving contracts to, I have just got this massive, massive concern in me that this is just the cheap option for the club. A cheap option to keep players who are probably not good enough, but are cheap to keep instead of having to buy players in. And somebody said to me, are you not concerned that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants this job so much that he's a yes man? Whereas if Pochettino came in, he wouldn't take the job unless he was given £200-300 million. What if Ole will take the job and he'll do it with £50 million because he thinks he can turn this squad into a title-winning team? Well, I tell you what, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a fantastic manager and I want him to be our manager, but he cannot win the title with this team. He'll be battling for fourth next year. This squad is not good enough to win a title. It's just not. If he could play his best 11 every single game for 38 games, he might win a title. He might just win a title. But I still don't think he would. But he can't do that anyway. And this is why, for me, I get concerned about giving Juan Mata a new contract. Because I look at this is the best way to do it. Look at the amount of players we've got. Well, right, okay. Let's go like, he's not going to get sold. He's just signed the new contract, not going to get sold. He will sign a new contract, won't get sold. He won't get sold. He won't get sold. Pereira could go, he won't get sold. Mata's signing a new contract. Lingard's not going to get sold. Chong's not going to get sold. Rashford's not going to get sold. Greenwood's not going to get sold. Martial's signed the new contract. So there's only potentially 3 players that could go. Alexis Sanchez, who's on massive wages and be hard to get rid of. Lukaku, I think people are dreaming that he's going to go. I don't think he would go because who's going to buy him? And Pereira is out of contract. So, you know, if you removed Mata from that, straight away you know you're signing a right winger. If you keep Mata, you're like, oh. And also, you've got to play Mata. I think this is what people forget. People forget this. If you keep Phil Jones, if you keep Chris Smalling, if you keep Scott McTominay, if you keep Ashley Young, if you keep Juan Mata, it's not just about turn up and have a joke on the training ground. They're going to play at least 20 games a season because they've got to justify their worth. And that means they're going to put in the sort of performances that some fans fear. So I've probably gone a long way around it, but for me, I love Juan Mata, but there's a time to be born and there's a time to die. And there's also a time to leave Manchester United when you're not good enough. And I personally don't... even when he played well against Chelsea last week, in the first 20 minutes against Liverpool, he played central and he was way off the pace. Way off the pace. And that's the trouble with Mata. He's definitely lost a yard of pace this season and he wasn't the quickest anyway. So I think it's a really bad decision to keep him. And I know it's probably Ollie's decision to keep him as well, but it's an expensive decision. £170,000 a week. That's what Van Dijk gets at Liverpool. I mean, we pay ridiculous wages as well. I mean, that's another angle. If we said to Mata, we're not keeping you anymore, nobody would give him £170,000 a week. Nobody would give him £170,000. He'd be lucky to get £100,000 a week. So I just worry about the business side of what Manchester United's going. But most of all, you know, regardless of what he gets paid, he's been a great servant to the club. But it's the space it takes in the squad. We're not removing the deadwood, I suppose, is the bottom line. Choose a current Premier League manager for United except Solskjaer, Pep and Poch, says Rab Adimti. God, I'm struggling with the names today. Zidane. Iron Singh, Mata may be on the decline mark, but for me, only Herrera, Mata and Rashford are 3 players who play for United with full hearts, unlike others with big dollars. Well, I disagree with you, mate. I think Pogba plays for the badge. I think Luke Shaw plays for the badge. I think Lindelof plays for the badge. I think Martial plays for the badge. And to be honest with you, Fellaini played for the badge, but he wasn't good enough. I think that's a bad mentality to have. I mean, it's all about opinion, of course it is, and some people might agree with that person. But I think they run around for the badge. Well, that's fine. Put me in a Manchester United shirt. Put you in the shirt, Arjan. I guarantee you'll run around for the badge. We'll both be shit. It's not just about running around for the badge. Fellaini did that. You need people who are good enough, and I disagree with it. It's a very, very difficult topic because there will be people out there saying you're an idiot. Juan Mata's brilliant. I agree with you. He's a brilliant human being, but I think it's time to go. Fred is Premier League signing of the season, says Luke Skywalker. And James Gray, United should get Monchi if we're going to scrimp on the money. Also, I think DT is a super slut. Cheers, Jeff. Thanks for the contribution, pal. Monchi's going to Arsenal. Don't even talk to me about Director of Football because I've got no idea what's going on with it. Apparently, I read something today, and I don't know how true it is, that the United are struggling to pay the wages for De Gea. I'm just going to take that as fake news because how could you be struggling to pay the money for De Gea when you're paying the money for Alexis Sanchez, who basically plays the piano and does sod all else. I mean, seriously, you break the bank. You break the bank for De Gea. So evening, Mark. I wonder if Ollie's keeping some of the deadwood to cover until the youth is ready. I think we are maybe 3 or 4 players away from a title, says Steve Chow. That is an interesting one. I would go with that. I would agree with that. It's Woodward's fault, says Neo Lesso. Look, somebody said to me today, right, let me just read you this. I've got to read this out because I've been meaning to mention them for a long time, and it's a really good account on Twitter that I use quite a lot, and it's called @UnitedArena, @UTD Arena. And basically, I was reading their tweet today, and I really liked it. He said, Juan Mata in 2017-18 season and 2018-19 season, so last season and this season, 67 appearances, of which 50 have been starts. He's got 8 goals and 10 assists. 231 minutes per goal involvement. Yeah, he's going to be 31 at the end of the season. Do those figures and his general performance warrants £170,000 per week extension. And I think that's the bottom line. It doesn't. He's 31 at the end of the season. He's lost a yard of pace, £170,000 a week, or whatever it's going to be. But the reality is, over the last 2 seasons, he's been involved in 67 games. He's got 10 assists, 8 goals, 231 minutes per goal involvement. It's not good enough. It isn't good enough for a man who can't defend, isn't very good at tackling, isn't particularly quick. He's meant to be a creator and a goal scorer. That's what Mata's meant to be. You know what? There's a large part of me that doesn't even like talking about this because I absolutely love Juan Mata, but I think it's just that ruthlessness that I've spoken about before. But also, I mean, again, United Arena said to me, sent me this as well. He said, there's a worrying theme at Manchester United of doing this sort of thing. Manchester United have played 94 games since the beginning of 2017-18 season, and Marcus Rojo has missed 53 of them through injury. So well over half of those games he's missed. He was given a contract extension in March 2018 to 2021, which his original contract was due to expire in June 2019. Again, you know, we've said it about Phil Jones as well. United, I mean, to summarise that then, we gave Marcus Rojo an extension last year, despite him being very injury prone, and he's continued to be injury prone. And there seems to be this thing at United, and, you know, your interpretation's as good as mine on that. It's very much a high level thing to do. They seem desperate to just keep people, no matter what their form is, no matter what their injury record is. They just keep people. And I think it's and this is why, going back as far as the David Moyes era, through Van Gaal, through Mourinho, and now with Ollie, we cannot get rid of the deadwood. And this is not about managers, this is not about anything. This is about Deadwood FC has been mentioned at Manchester United for at least 4 years. And every summer we say, we'll get rid of the deadwood this year. And every season we've still got the deadwood. And the deadwood keeps getting contract extensions as well. It's a really, really, really weird thing. And it's a very good point by @United Arena that we obviously have this philosophy in the club that we're not going to move the deadwood on. We're going to keep them because they're cheap, because we haven't got to sign anybody, and it just bulks the squad up. It's a very interesting thing, and there is a very familiar pattern. And to be fair, Phil Jones is ill at the moment. He's not injured. But Phil Jones's record is at least half a season every season he's injured. But we've given him a 5-year contract. Rojo, we've given him a 3-year contract when he's always injured as well. Mata, on the decline, but let's give him another contract and pay him a lot of money for it. It's weird, but it's not weird when you think, well, if we did let them go, you've got to sign someone. 40 million. So it's far cheaper to just pay Mata 500 grand a month to stay, even if he is on the decline. And then you can say to the manager, well, you're not having anyone because you've got that. It's worrying. But we just seem very, very reluctant to get rid of the deadwood. And you know what? Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a yes man? I don't know. I can't give you that answer. Do I want him to be Manchester United manager? Yes, I do. Is he so desperate to take the job that he's said to Ed Woodward, I'll work with this squad? Because if he has, Ed Woodward will give him the job. You know, Ed Woodward, if he's got to get Pochettino out of a Spurs contract for 50 million and then give him 250 million to spend, that's 300 million. He's got that option, or he's got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying, I'll have the job and I'm fine with 100 million. Well, 300 million, 100 million. Welcome to the club, Ollie. Special handshake. that could be a scenario. Mark Whitten says, personally, I feel the Glazers are not spending because they're selling the club, hopefully to an owner with football knowledge and a big bank account. Well, that's always an interesting thing, I agree. Remember to smash a like on the video, everybody. Let's also talk about Antonio Valencia. I mean, now there is a player that we haven't given a new contract to yet. He's one of the few we haven't given him a new contract yet. He's out injured till the end of March. I mean, Valencia is really weird. Very, very weird this season. I sense there's been a fallout there because Valencia's never really been that injury prone and he's always meant to be coming back, but then he keeps breaking down in training. So apparently Valencia's out till the end of March, which is quite interesting. And also the Luke Shaw. I want to talk about Luke Shaw a little bit as well in a moment. Iron Singh says, so if Pogba, Shaw, Tony and etc. play for the badge, do you think they will sign new contracts on the same wages or blackmail big increase like Fellaini? Luke Shaw signed the new contract at the start of the season. Anthony Martial signed the new contract about 2 weeks ago. Paul Pogba hasn't signed the new contract. I don't know whether I've misread that there, but two of them have already signed new contracts. Armand says, if we don't get top 4, do you think Woodward will spend and that will help Ollie in a title challenge next season? Well, I mean, you're right, Armand. I mean, that's why I think Paul Robinson says all decisions are based on money and not on football and always will be with the Glazers. And I think that's the point there. There's two issues here, and I don't want to bore people, but there's two issues here. Juan Mata shouldn't be going out of contract in the summer anyway. Neither should Ander Herrera. Neither should Phil Jones have been. Neither should Ashley Young have been. Neither should Andres Pereira be. Neither should Anthony Martial be. Neither should David De Gea be going into these last year. We've got a load of players going into their last year of the contract. That's about saving money. That is bad business because that is keep somebody on the same wage right to the very end, then give them a contract renewal. But it destabilises the club and it destabilises the player who isn't getting any love back from the club. Even Fellaini said that last year. It's ridiculous. I've been allowed to run my contract down, and he did end up staying because no one else wanted him. So that's mistake one. The amount of players we've let go down to their last few months of their contract. That's mistake one. And then mistake two is you go to them and give them a contract, and they are then in a strong position. It's ridiculously bad business. Like Paul Robinson says, they're thinking about money, but they don't understand football because, right, so let's use Juan Mata as an example. Juan Mata wants a new contract and he's wanted one for the last 3 years. No. You're not having one. Gets to the last 6 months of his contract and we go, yeah, we want to give you one. And Juan Mata goes, but I can go to Spain in the summer and I go for free, so I'll get good wages because there's no signing on fee. Oh, but we want you to stay, 170 grand a week. There you go. So it's arse about face anyway. So we shouldn't be doing what we're doing, and we just shouldn't be doing it. It's stupid. Paul's right. There's no football knowledge in the McTominay 5-year contract, the Jones 5-year contract, the Young extension, the Mata extension. There's no football knowledge in those. It's all about saving money. And to be honest with you, people would be quite rightly say, well, Mark, what about Ollie's input on that? He clearly wants those players to stay. But what if Ollie's been told, well, there's no one else, you're not getting anybody in? What would you do? Juan Mata or nobody? You're going to go with Juan Mata, aren't you? It doesn't take much to understand what's going on at Manchester United. And whatever anybody says, because they quite rightly will say, well, you moan about Phil Jones getting a 5-year contract, but Ollie must have signed it off. Michael Carrick must be happy with it. Michael Phelan must be happy with it. But what if the scenario is the club are saying, well, Phil Jones is going for nothing, or we'll give him a contract, but we're not getting anyone else in. You're going to keep Phil Jones, aren't you? Of course you are. Ollie has 0 say he's temporary, says Paul Robinson. Well, that could be true. And I think, actually, you know what? Let's just take a step back there. The press keep reporting that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told United to keep Phil Jones. He's told them to keep Juan Mata. If you understand what's going on at Manchester United, Ed Woodward was putting his foot down with Jose Mourinho, one of the best managers there's ever been. So you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is knocking on Ed Woodward's door and going, I'm unbeaten in 13 games. He's not from London, he's from Norway. I'm unbeaten in 13 games. Get Juan Mata a new contract now, man. And then slams the door. That's not happening. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants this job. Ed Woodward has the keys to that job. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would do what Ed Woodward says. I would do that. If I wanted the Manchester United job, and also he's only halfway through potentially his audition to get the job. There's no way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is having a major impact on who's staying, on who's going. Not at the moment, because he's not the manager. We need a director of football to plan our squad with Ole in the summer as theatre of games. You've hit the nail on the head, pal. You've hit the nail on the head. We desperately need a director of football. And we were told that the only reason we weren't getting one is because Mourinho was against it. Well, Mourinho's been gone for 2.5 months. Monchi's going to Arsenal, who apparently have only got £50 million to spend in the summer, but they've sorted a director of football out. United, we don't know what we've got to spend in the summer. We know we need a director of football. We haven't even got one yet. So, director of football is massively, massively important. Mark, why are you crying? No, I'm not crying. Mark, why are you crying? Because Mata isn't even that bad. He's just not that good in right wing. If you play him centre mid or centre attacking midfield, he'll be fantastic, so stop crying. Abu Osman, you've just said I've been crying twice and not crying, and you're wrong. He'd be a shit centre midfielder, so that's wrong. Centre attacking midfielder, you're wrong. He's a number 10. Since when's Juan Mata a midfielder? Do you know what a midfielder's meant to do? A midfielder's meant to be able to tackle. Juan Mata played at the head of he basically played as a number 10 against Chelsea. He can play that position. Yes, you're right, he can play that position. But he still lost a yard of pace. And when do we play with a number 10? And also, Jesse Lingard's a better number 10 than Juan Mata. I think Angel Gomez is going to be a better number 10 than Juan Mata very, very soon as well. I think I don't see what Juan Mata brings to Manchester United anymore because he's lost a yard of pace. Well, George Carl's right, he's too slow. That's my opinion, though. It's a very, very difficult thing to talk about. David says he's not the right player for us. Maybe they're offering new contracts so they can sell them for more money rather than letting them go for free, says King D SOT. I don't agree with that. Some people do think that, so let's throw it out there. Some people do. I don't think that you sign somebody on 5-year contracts to sell them in the summer, because what if... Right, okay. If you sign Phil Jones on a 5-year contract because you want to sell him to West Ham for 20 million in the summer, right? You sign him on the contract and then you call him in the summer and go, ha, Phil, it was all a plan. West Ham want you for £20 million, off you go. And Phil Jones goes, well, I'm injured for half the time anyway. I'm not going to West Ham. I'm on a 5-year contract. Sue me. Once the player's in the contract, they've got the power, not the club. So I think it's just about saving money. I really, really do, until I'm proved otherwise. The only thing he can do is score free kicks, says Josh Savage. And let's not forget, people will use the Fellaini extension as an example of, oh no, we're looking at Fellaini. But we didn't sign Fellaini on a new contract to sell him. We signed Fellaini on a new contract because Mourinho wanted him. And if Mourinho was still manager of Manchester United, Fellaini would not have been sold in January. He would still be starting games and Herrera would be on the bench. That's what, Fellaini, we extended his contract to keep him. That's what happens, unless they become surplus to requirements because of new managers. So I don't agree with that. I know some people do. I just want to quickly talk about Luke Shaw, by the way, because I know Rants, and I don't know about Flex. I've got to watch it back, but there was a lot of complaints from the Flex and Rants show today saying that Rants was picking on Luke Shaw again. Look, it's all about opinion. It's all about opinion, and he's been very consistent about not liking Luke Shaw that much and not thinking he's good enough for United. Well, I've been very consistent that I think he will be our left-back for the next 3 to 5 years. I think he can be one of the best left-backs in Europe. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he said himself after Sunday he's got a couple more gears to go. I think what he did on Sunday, don't take it in isolation, because Ashley Young actually pocketed Salah. But I thought the way Luke Shaw pocketed Salah was very different to the way Ashley Young's done it. Luke Shaw was actually marking Salah. He was beating him for pace. He was beating him in the tackle. He was strong against him. But Luke Shaw's been doing that for the last 4 or 5 weeks now. Luke Shaw was doing it at the start of the season when he got Player of the Month 2 months in a row. I think he's a fantastic player. I just think some people have agendas against certain players, and I think you just have to accept that. Like I'd sell Mata. Some people would think that's sacrilegious. I'm not a massive fan. Who's a player that's popular that I'm not totally made up on? In the United team, probably no one, because I've got my finger on the pulse. But I'm trying to think. But look, if Rance or anyone else doesn't think Luke Shaw's good enough, it stuns me, because I know that he is. But it's all about opinion. But I do think Luke Shaw's fantastic at the moment. And, you know, people say Romelu Lukaku's not got a very good football brain. Well, he actually came out this week and said that the player of the year for Manchester United is Luke Shaw. So, you know, Lukaku obviously knows what he's on about as well. Just needs to sort his first touch out. But it's all about opinion, isn't it? But I think Luke Shaw is absolutely fantastic. George Kyle says it's not an agenda, it's an opinion. You see, George Kyle doesn't like Chris Smalling. He's wrong. In my opinion, it's wrong. But I feel that... No, George, I feel that there is an agenda against Luke Shaw, because how can you not... It is an agenda, I think. It's an opinion, but it's an agenda being driven by opinion because people don't like him for whatever reason. He's doing nothing wrong. He's doing nothing wrong. In fact, he's exceeding a lot of people's expectations. He's been absolutely fantastic for weeks. And all you ever get thrown at him is, man, we can't get forward. He put one of the best crosses of the season onto Marcus Rashford's head a couple of games ago. He can get forward and he can cross. The problem is, he's got bloody Alexis Sanchez in front of him now, which will stop him bombing on. Luke Shaw will be a potential captain in 3 years, says Mark Whitten. I'm not too sure about that. You have an agenda against Hazard, says Hazario47. Yeah, he's shit. He doesn't play for my club either. He's a Belgian Nathan Redmond. I've told you about that. Where was he at the weekend? All right, he can step up and do a banter-free penalty, but still lost. See, John Coles gets it. He says, you're wrong, Mark. Just an opinion. That's fine. It's just an opinion. I think you're wrong, John. We could go on all night. Shaw is average, doesn't do anything that makes him stand out, says Active Dan. I think that's an idiotic comment, but it's your opinion. Would you like United to buy Bruno Fernandes, says Luke Sipes. I know we're linked to him, and I'm going to mention him in the transfer show a little bit later in the week, but for me, it's not... No, it's just not... I don't think it's right. I don't think he's the right player for us. I think he's got the potential to flop, to be honest with you. Mark, get top 4 and only get £100 million for the summer, or not get top 4 and get £200 million for the summer, says Ijon13. I'd always take top 4 because I want to be playing in the Champions League. Paul Isaac says Luke Shaw is getting better and better and he's young enough to be at the club for many years. Haters will always hate, says Eamon Barrett. You know what? You're right, Eamon. That's what I was trying to say very, very badly. When you make your mind up about opinion, it's in the human psyche of many humans to just dig their feet in because they don't want to accept they're wrong. I understand why people won't change their mind on Luke Shaw because it's just the human psyche, but they're wrong in my opinion. But I'm trying to think of a player that I wouldn't change my mind around for ages and I was wrong about, but I'm always right. Like Fellaini, I always said he was crap. Jones, I've always said he's not that good. Ashley Young, I've always said he's not good enough. I'm tempted to say Lingard, but what I've always said about Lingard is that I think in a title-winning team, Lingard becomes a bench option, and I've always liked Lingard's energy and impact, and I think he'd be a brilliant bench player. I'm not convinced Lingard starts in a team that's going to win the league, but in a team that is challenging for 4th, he's a starter for us at the moment. But if we want to go to that next level, so that's not really... I've not really been critical of Lingard in that way. I just felt that maybe if we want to go to that next level, he becomes a bench player. But there's nothing wrong with that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a bench player. I can't think of a player that I've been wrong on that the masses have liked. I don't know. Maybe Hazard was a good example. I don't know. I'm speechless. Fred should start the next game, says Pro Ranger. Look, I'm very excited about the game tomorrow. I would like to see Fred starting, to be honest. I want to understand. Would you buy Lozano for United, says Gustavo Cortez? Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. Rojo is fit, Avinash. So let's see if he plays. Right, anyway, please do drop a like on the video. We've had over 500 likes, which is absolutely fantastic. Crystal Palace game is massive opportunity for Chong and Gomez and Greenwood, but Greenwood's injured, Ted. Paul Merson's predicted we're going to lose tomorrow. I predicted we're going to draw. I think it's a very tough game for us tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. We've got the watch along, but before the watch along tomorrow, I must just draw your attention to something. So make sure you're subscribed and you've got your bell notification on, because tomorrow lunchtime we've got a video going up with a Manchester United fan who is a Game of Thrones legend. Watch that tomorrow lunchtime on the United Stand. Looking forward to that, talking about Ollie and all his thoughts on that. And also, if you're interested in the United Stand football team, there was an announcement today on my channel, the Mark Goldbridge channel. I've dropped the link in the video description there. The date for the trials is out and all the detail you need. So link in the video description for that. But thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed the show tonight. I think, again, like last night's show, I want to delve into more debatable topics. And I think that we need to do that because I think it's always, you know, the United Stand's not about being safe. It's about real fan community. It's about real fan content. It's about real opinion. And real opinion is sometimes divisive. So last night's show was brilliant. And I think this show, again, I must applaud everybody and anyone who's going to get involved who's not watching it live, because I do read the comments. The matter thing's very divisive. It doesn't matter what side you're on. The discussion is there. And I love that. And I love that about our community. We never just play for likes. We never just go and say something that, oh, Pogba's brilliant. Like, you know, we want to have the big discussions because United, no matter how you look at United, we are on the way back. We are on a journey from mid-table under Mourinho to who knows with Ollie. So we're on a journey. So not everything's going to be great. There's going to be trips and slips along the way, and there's going to be disagreements along the way. But that's the beauty of football. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you go and watch my video. It's a very funny X Factor audition at the start. The link's in the video description for that. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Big game, massive game tomorrow. Who knows? Thanks for watching.